Welcome to Time of Death. This video is for informational purposes and in no way meant to glorify or condone violence. In today's video, we'll be discussing the murder of Kate Sue Yee. Yee was strangled to death on Thursday, April 2nd, 2009 in the 700 block of Bellflower Boulevard in Long Beach, according to LA County coroner records. Jonathan Hune was subsequently arrested and charged with the murder. The following is the evidence at trial. Defendant began dating Miss Kate Yee while they were in high school. They had a turbulent relationship, breaking up after graduation in 2006 and resuming dating about a year later. Ms. Yee's friends disliked defendant and believed that he was infatuated and obsessed with her. Defendant was Ms. Yee's first sexual partner. She was very conservative and religious. In 2009, Ms. Yee was a nursing student at California State University, Long Beach. In January 2009, she moved into a two-bedroom apartment with Kay Ryman, a fellow student. The two had not known each other previously. Defendant stayed with Ms. Yee 4 to 5 nights a week. They bickered and argued a lot. Ms. Ryman considered defendant to be odd, immature, and awkward with a crazy look on his face. On the afternoon of March 31st, 2009, Ms. Ryman came back to the apartment but did not see Ms. Yee and defendant. Ms. Yee's purse with items falling out of it was on the floor in the hallway outside Ms. Ryman's bedroom, and Ms. Yee had never left her purse in that condition before. Ms. Ryman went into her room, changed clothes, and came out. She put the items into the purse and set it near the wall in the hallway. Ms. Yee's bedroom door was closed and there was no noise coming from inside the room. Ms. Ryman went into the living room to put on her running shoes. Defendant walked out of the bedroom looking sad. Ms. Ryman asked, "Are you in trouble again?" Defendant said, "She hit me," and touched his face. Ms. Yee came out of her room appearing angry. She said apparently to defendant, "Take your things and leave, like just leave. Hold on, take your stuff with you." Ms. Yee said she would get defendant's things because that way he would get out faster. She went back into her room and came out with a pile of defendant's belongings. She opened the apartment door and set the belongings inside next to the door. She then got another pile and set it outside. It appeared to Ms. Ryman that Ms. Yee was breaking up with defendant. Ms. Ryman had never seen this type of interaction between them before. She tried to change her shoes as fast as she could because she wanted to leave Ms. Yee and defendant alone. While Ms. Yee was moving his property, defendant was just standing by the front door looking sad. When Ms. Ryman left, Ms. Yee was standing next to defendant with her arms crossed, telling him to leave. Ms. Yee still appeared to be angry. Ms. Ryman left the apartment at about 3:35 p.m. Ms. Ryman returned to the apartment between 7:15 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. to find it locked and empty. Only the bottom lock on the door was locked, not the deadbolt. The property belonging to defendant that Ms. Yee had placed near the front door and outside the front door was gone. Ms. Yee's sandals were gone, as were her purse, keys, and car. The door to Ms. Yee's bedroom was open. Ms. Ryman did not hear from either Ms. Yee or defendant that night or the next day. She tried to call Ms. Yee the next day on her cell phone but did not reach her. Later that evening, Ms. Ryman's cat began acting strangely, sniffing at the closet where Ms. Yee was eventually found. The next day, on April 2nd, Ms. Ryman found a number to Ms. Yee's mother and called her to say she could not locate her. Ms. Yee's parents arrived at the apartment at around 7 p.m. on April 2nd. Ms. Yee's mother and Ms. Ryman searched Ms. Yee's room. Ms. Ryman found Ms. Yee's dead body in a closet in the room. She ran from the apartment screaming. Ms. Yee's father pulled her body out of the closet. A man's leather belt was tightly pulled around her neck. Ms. Yee's mother loosened the belt, removed it, and threw it to the side. The parents cradled her body on the floor of the room and were in this position when the first police officers arrived at the scene. Ms. Yee had black panties stuffed into her mouth and was naked except for a thin shirt pulled over her breasts. She had Advil pills stuffed up her nostrils. There was bleeding on Ms. Yee's head and near her buttocks and vagina, and she had a mark on her forehead. There was also a bruise on her cheek. On April 3rd, police detectives learned that Ms. Yee's cell phone was pinging at the Block at Orange, a shopping mall. Officers went to that location and found Ms. Yee's car parked in the lot. They watched the vehicle for 7 hours. At about 6 p.m., defendant went to the vehicle, entered it using the key, and changed his shirt with one from the trunk. He then went back into the mall. Officers located him playing video games with other people in a game store. Detective Mendoza arrived at 8 p.m. and found defendant still playing games at the store. He and his partner identified themselves as police officers and told defendant that they wanted to talk with him about a missing persons report regarding Ms. Yi. Defendant spoke with the officers in an unmarked police car. The first part of that interview was not recorded, but the second portion was. Based on incriminating statements defendant made, he was detained and transported to the Long Beach police station, where he admitted that Ms. Yi died after he hit her during an argument. Dr. Paul Glinicky, the deputy medical examiner, concluded that the cause of death was asphyxia due to strangulation or obstruction of the airway, with gag and sharp force injuries contributing to death. Asphyxia is a lack of oxygen. Ms. Yi had extensive petechial hemorrhages or small blood spots over her face, in her eyes, and in her mouth from the strangulation. She also had ligature marks across her neck and an internal bruise on the right side of her neck. The gag was a pair of panties stuffed into her mouth with her tongue rolled back. There were 3 separate incised or sharp force injuries to the back of the head, each with a depth of 1/2 inch. Dr. Glinicky testified that a strangulation victim typically passes out from lack of oxygen within 20 to 30 seconds, but takes 6 to 7 minutes to die. In this case, the belt around the neck, the gag in the mouth, and the pills in the nostrils all would have blocked oxygen. Defendant pled not guilty and testified that Ms. Yi died during an episode of consensual sexual asphyxiation. The jury found defendant guilty of murder and found the knife use allegation true. Defendant was sentenced to an indefinite term of 26 years to life in state prison. Kate Sue Yi was 20 years old at the time of death.